Hi, my name's Alex Brownsell. I'm the editor on M&M Global and recently arrived in Rome for the Festival of Media Global 2017 here at the Rome Cavalieri. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Oliver Maletz, Volkswagen Group Head of Communications and Media Planning, one of the speakers at this year's event, and also the chair of the jury for the M&M Global Awards 2017. We'll come on to that bit a little bit later. But firstly, obviously, welcome. What are you looking forward to about the event?
Thank you. Well, it's always good to come here. There's always a lot of good learning, and I'm particularly focusing now on the data stream side of things. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a big changer in the industry, and it is for us already. So that to me is the bigger area, the programmatic space, and how data-led marketing is moving us forward.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're going to be, I think we've got data and programmatic streams at the event. That's a huge area of interest then for you.
For us, it's major because the consumer's path to purchase is for the auto industry incredibly important, and the better we can understand that, and the better we can target with the right messages and help people along their path, it's good for us. It's really good for us.
Mm-hmm. It's been a fascinating year so far in terms of, I guess, what's been making the headlines. Issues such as brand safety, transparency, viewability, all of this kind of stuff. A lot of it, I guess, packaged together by that speech by Mark Pritchard at P&G. And what's kind of high on your agenda? What do you think is sort of really important at the moment?
I think Mark hit a nerve that a lot of us have been playing with, and he's pretty outspoken, so he's been able to do that. But yeah, the brand safety issue is a challenge for everyone. But it's the industry is still nascent, and we still have issues with television even. So even television isn't properly measured, and really don't know. With brand safety with us, you're never going to get 100%. So the question is, how do you do it as well as you can? I do think we're pushing a little bit hard on Google because we had an opportunity to push on Google. So it's in all fairness, from a Volkswagen perspective, I think we were a bit more pragmatic about it. We went back and we actually looked at what was actually impacted and how do we quickly change that, and we were able to do that. And the impact was actually relatively small, so the impact in the press was much larger than the consumer impact. But it's caused us to, again, relook at our safety features, relook at Google, relook at Facebook, relook at all of the other switches that we have on, relook at our ad server seismic and what we're doing there and how we're doing that. So it has given us a pause to go back in and give ourselves a reality check. But it is a big issue in the industry, and it will always be, especially as we get more into programmatic, and the more games publishers can play and even brokers can play. So we need to be more careful, more vigilant.
I mean, as you say, obviously, some of those subjects were thrust into the national and international media by various stories and became real sort of almost consumer topics of attention as well. How optimistic are you about actual progress that the industry, you yourselves, your partners, are making towards kind of dealing with these challenges?
Yeah, I think everybody's focused on it right now. I think everybody was focused on it before this just a fire that came up. I think we will get it. Again, as I said, if we're going to get 100%, we probably never will, because as soon as the industry figures something out, somebody is finding some other new way to put a pixel on there and show in click rates and all. So there's always going to be somebody. It's a hacker world. So as many hackers as there are out there, you need to have counterparts and systems and measures. So it will keep programmers busy for quite a long time.
Yeah. You mentioned the value of taking a pause and looking at things, and that's something that certainly that Volkswagen did recently when you reviewed your whole media arrangements, and that must have been a fascinating process. And be interesting to know, how do you feel your approach to media is evolving now that following the appointment of PhD?
Yeah, I think the approach to media hasn't really changed for us. I think our revising approach forced us to have a review, because we just couldn't get where we were going quickly enough. So the review was really about who fits our process and our approach best, and who can actually enhance that and take that to the next level. It was a very in-depth review. It took over a year, and we really did make sure that globally we did the right choice in every region. You're never going to make everybody happy around the world, but I think we've raised the bar significantly with the shift that we've done and the demands. We've also looked at it from a holding company perspective, so we didn't look at it as just media agencies, and we're talking to Omnicom now beyond just PhD, and we need to in today's world. So it's
joining those lots of creativity and media and digital and everything.
And that's the creativity to media bit it is the biggest challenge that we have now. How do we stay creative in a dynamic, creative world? So how do you actually do that? How do you continue your storytelling without just showing, model of a vehicle on a white background because that's the right model based on that data? So it becomes a challenge, and that's a PhD and Omnicom as a whole showed some very good insights and progress in that space.
Yeah. Do you think, obviously, automotive is an area that's used the D word, disruption, but it's an industry that faces challenges, opportunities, but also some challenges. And do you think that you're under pressure to evolve the way that you use data, particularly before it's almost too late?
I think we're under significant pressure internally. We're under significant pressure. We need to get much more micro-targeted, which is the whole basic premise from my perspective of data-led, is really understanding and finding the right consumer at the right place. But our industry is changing. We're moving from just a purchase once every 3 to 7 years, depending on the country and the type of purchase you make, to being much more monthly transactions as we move down the path. And that's a completely different marketing approach, and it's not something the auto industry is used to doing, which will require different approaches, will require different thinking and a different mindset than we've ever had before.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, moving on from, I guess, what you're going to be, perhaps some of the topics you'll be talking about at this event, to the Festival of Media Global Awards, which, delighted, obviously, to reiterate, Oliver has joined us as the chair of the jury. Thank you very much for agreeing to step up to the plate. What are you looking forward to it?
Oh, I mean, as you know.
Sorry, M&M Awards or Festival Media Awards?
M&M Global Awards.
You said Festival Media.
Did I?
I think so.
Right. Shall I? Okay.
We'll pick it up from. Yeah.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Well, I just
Yeah. No. That's right.
Then.
As I mentioned a moment ago, Oliver, delighted to say, has agreed to sign up to be the chair of the jury for the M&M Global Awards 2017. Thank you again, obviously, for signing up. What are you looking forward to?
Oh, as always, I have the selfish side. It's always good to see case histories and good to see how people look at things and have different perspectives and take different angles, and the creativity that the industry actually has. I think media tends to be more numbers based, and the creativity gets a bit lost. But if I were the person to be nervous, would be PhD, because I'm coming back with things. Why aren't you? Why aren't you? Why aren't you? So the agency is going to get a big challenge.
What do you have any tips for entrants, anything like that? If anybody thinking of entering, how they should perhaps phrase their entries?
I mean, it's still early days for me, really early days for me. But I think historically, when I've looked at awards, the awards need to focus on a solid business result, whether that's a financial business result or shifting a brand, depending on where in the purchase phase you're targeting. I think results are what it is. If it doesn't provide meaningful value to a meaningful number of people and doesn't impact your business, it's just a nice shiny penny that it's a great idea, but if it doesn't do anything, it's a great idea.
Well, look forward to seeing you, obviously,
thank you.
At this event. Look forward to catching up with you around the awards, and thank you very much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.